Greetings out there in YouTube land. This is Morris Man. And as always, I thank you for coming to my channel. I guess I'm going to entitle this because I'm going to do a series of these because little things that you think are little are big. You know, and I thought about this because what sparked this thought was, you know, I got coming from one of my subscribers and clients as far as I did a couple of songs for him. And he gave me the list. And I knocked it out quickly. And when I say quickly, I don't mean sloppy. Throw it together, it's done. You know, I handled the business, did a good job. And he said, man, how do you learn this stuff so quick? And it's a question that I get from time to time, and you'd be surprised the answer, you know. Because the answer is this. When you become a musician, just say, for instance, the guitar player. You're not just a guitar player. In order to be a really good guitar player, you got to be more than just a guitar player. And what I mean by that is this. When I was younger and in multiple bands, one of my biggest fears was messing up on stage. I'm like, I do not want to F up on stage. No. So I would learn the song thoroughly and also learn the lyrics, you know. And where I'm going with this is you got to learn structure of song. Now, that's something that most music teachers, I'll say probably none of them really teach you that. It's like, I'm just teaching you how to play the guitar. That is more important than theory, you know. And people, how is that more important than theory? I give you a good example. All of the songs that I've ever done on my channel, whether it's guitar or bass lessons, I've never had to apply theory. And it's like, how is that possible? This is how it's possible. It's real simple. An A chord is an A chord. Whether it's in the key of A or in another key. Just play the A chord. You're done. You're done. You got to worry about, well, let me see. There's all these chords in this key. You ain't got to learn none of that shit. I mean, I know it and I've learned it, but I don't apply it because I don't have to. You know, if you're given the chorus, just play the damn song. That's it. You got to know what key you're in unless you're planning on doing a solo. That's the only time you would really need to know what key you're in. Other than that, if you're given the chorus, just play them and keep your mouth closed because that's all you need to learn. You ain't got to ask, what key? You don't need to know that. If you're not about to solo in this song, don't worry about that, you know. And some might say, well, you know, you should, Morris Man. No, you don't. You know, how many videos do you have playing? Because I get people that want to challenge me on this theory thing. I'm like, well, how many videos have you done on YouTube? None. Just run them out, you know. Just run them out because they were taught to run them out. It's like, why question it when you just, here's the answer. You don't need any more answers. You know, it's too much junk in your head, you know. And so it's like, just play the doggone thing, you know. And that's how I'm able to play so many songs so quickly. I mastered the technique of learning and knowing structure of song. And once you dissect the song, you chain it together and you're done. Because I remember, and this is what normally happens when you first start playing. And I remember this like it was yesterday. Very first band, first got out there playing. And we did the Curtis Blow Christmas rap. And we sit here and count. One, two, change. You got to do that. You know, you can feel once you become a pretty good player. You can feel when the change is coming. And it's kind of, structure is not universal, but it's very close to that. You know, it's like, okay, this many bars, and then I go into the next thing, and then I go into the next thing, or then I go back to this thing. You know, chart it out first, write it out. You know, listen to the lyrics. I'm like, okay, this is the first verse. It has this set of chords. This is the B section or the pre-chorus. It got these chords, and most of them got separate chords, but some songs, clever like Ray Parker Jr. and She, it's the same chord, and sometimes the verse and the chorus, the only thing they did was change up the rhythm to make it sound like it's different stuff going on when actually it's the same stuff going on. They just slowed it down, and then when the chorus come, they speed it up, and it sounds like it's some different busy stuff, but it's not, you know. So in order to become a good player, you got to learn that first, because again, most people don't talk about it. Your music teachers don't teach you. You got to learn structure of song. And especially for drummers, they can't get around that unless you're just going to play straight through like a robot. No crescendos, no indication. I'm going into the chorus from the verse, you know. And the drummer have a really big responsibility once they realize they're job. Their job's to keep the meter and to keep everybody, okay, I'm about to go here. Okay, I hear you, Because I played with guys that had no concept of structure song, or too lazy to learn the song. They're just going to play straight through it. It's like, what happened to the crash, dude? What happened to the crescendo? What happened to the tom-tom roll? I don't know this song. You got to learn it. You can't just breeze through it, unless it's just this 5-minute disco thing or house thing. But when you talking about just structured songs, changes, and things of that nature, you got to learn it. And most drummers are up to the task, but a lot of them quite lazy. It's like, come on, man. Because I played in a corporate band, and the dude was like, don't know what he doing. It's like, come on, man, you got to learn the song, You got to learn the song. You got to learn the structure. We really rely on you as the drummer because you are one of the few that can't be slacking. With the guitar player, trying to turn his guitar down a little bit, get caught up, get buried under the keyboard part. But the drummer, you're the guy that keeps the meter. You're the guy responsible for keeping us uniform as we go through the song. But again, the purpose of this video was to indicate or let you guys know you got to learn structure song in order to be a good musician. Where you can go through a song in 5 minutes, and I don't mean just skimping through it. I know a little bit of most of it, and hoping that nobody catches your errors or stuff that's missing. You got to learn structure song, and I learned that a long time ago. Now I can tab a song in less than a minute. Especially the new stuff. Give me 30 seconds and I'll be done with yours. But even with complex stuff, you get through it quicker because different sections. Again, unless it's just this 6-minute run-on groove, and because that's why I don't like James Brown stuff. The groove is so long that once you change the groove after 3 minutes, you can kind of lost your place. Like, well, the rhythm's going to change here. And since I didn't have the luxury of like most songs, within a couple of bars, it changes back, changes. James run on for like 4 minutes before you get to take me to a G, play it in F. It's like, then when you go out of that and go back into the original or the first part of the groove, you lose your groove or the rhythm. And it's like, I don't like brain dead stuff. And I don't mean that negatively because James wrote some funky stuff. But I need a little flavor or more flavor throughout the song. It's still this 4-minute groove. And then you go into, the bridge and then you go back into that. It's like, I'm fall asleep, man. Challenge me, give me some Earth, Wind and Fire stuff or Luther Vandross stuff. Every few bars, you going into a different chord, you keeping me alive and keeping me woke, but again, I'm just going to stress this. In order to become a good player, you got to learn structure song. And one might say, well, how do you do that? Real simple. That way it was simpler when I was growing up because we used to have those big old things and they were like this. They were black. Sometimes they come on multicolors. They were called vinyl. And then in the vinyl, it's this big old album cover. And you pull that album cover out. And a lot of these big name artists, you pull out the sleeve and it has the lyrics. It has the structure of song. That's how I learned. Because they would tell you verse. Then you get the lyrics. Then it says hook. Right there next to the chorus. That's how I learned. That's how I learned. And unfortunately now you don't get no album covers. You get the streaming, you get the downloading the songs. I'm like, some things should have been left alone, but nothing stays the same and things get pushed into the new era, But I learned a lot just from the vinyl, pulling out that sleeve, listening to the lyrics. That's how I learned how to write lyrics too, It's like, oh, I love those rhyme schemes, And what I noticed about rap now, and I'm gonna just touch on this quickly. Songs have a rhyme scheme. And one might say, if you're not a writer, what is a rhyme scheme? It means every other line, the last word rhymes with the last word. I guess I'll give you a quick example. Michael Henderson in the nighttime. Funny just seems kind of funny. Funny is the word. Every time that I'm with my honey, that rhymes with funny. I forgot the words, but it was like every other sentence. Now with this new rap stuff, rap scheme all over the place. Sometimes, most time don't even rhyme anymore. And that was what makes it so flavorful and lyrical, the rhyme scheme. Instead of you just saying a bunch of words, none of them rhyme with nothing. It's just a bunch of words, And I don't know who's the genius who just said that. We're going to change up the rhyme scheme. So now when they waiting for that rhyme word, it ain't there, you know. And it just doesn't, to me, doesn't sound pleasant to my ears. That's just me. That's just Morris Man opinion. Because I grew up in an era for 80 years music plus it had a rhyme scheme. And somebody changed it and that's you just talking. Whole bunch of words on a sample beat. And it's like, I'm waiting for the flavor instead of just a bunch of words talking. I mean, I could do that. You know, but I'm not complaining. It's just that, you know, we grew up in our own era and we like what we like. You know, and we come accustomed to that. Like the young folks now come accustomed to rapping with it, where there's no rhyme scheme, you know. So, you know, it's nothing stays the same. But when I was teaching young kids, and they were kids, how to play drums, you know, what I taught them first was, I gave them a piece of paper. I said, take your favorite song and bring it to me. So they did. And I said, okay, this is what we're going to do. I'm going to teach you structure of song, because you as a drummer, you need to know this. And from time to time, I see a few of them, because that was like at least 20 years ago. And one guy's, you know, he's a pro and he's good. And he's like, man, thanks, Morris, man. He the one who started me. You know, this guy that play guitar. You know, but I teach them the concept of structure of song first. So once they start to play, it's not that difficult for them. It's like, okay, I'm about to go into a chorus, boom, 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 crash. Some of you really hearing the song now, especially tom-tom rolls. I'm like, it's just a beat and a groove. It's like, it takes you nowhere. You know, because a lot of these songs prior to probably I'd probably say 2000 on back, you can just isolate the drums and you hear all this movement. Pow! Now you just hear. They call it Rick Beato call it what do you call it? Cicado hats. You know, all that. You know, but you don't hear toms anymore. You might hear crash, but you don't hear roll no more. You know, it's like R&B music has become so fucking flat. It's just, I don't even listen to the stuff today. And it's not that I'm an old man ranting and stuff. I'm like, no, I'm a professional musician, and I see how it has degraded to this. It's still getting better. You know, we're supposed to have better musicians now, not one guy with one hand on the sample, you know? Because I seen Kanye West, who's not a musician, and it's like, but you trying to pretend to be one. He was somewhere, and he was rocking on the piano, got one hand, just one hand. Hitting a sample, wasn't even hitting one note. It's like, really, man? This is not musicianship. This is garbage, you know? And take it for whatever you want to take it. Morris Man, just the old dude tripping out. The good old, no, it has gotten worse. It's supposed to get better. Our musicians today supposed to be as good as the guys in the 60s, because they got so many aids now to make you better. You know, because back in the 70s, when you were learning chords, you know, you had to figure out through theory another voicing. Now you can just go on the internet and type in, C chord, and they give you different variations of a C chord. It's like, I wish I had this back in the 70s. It's still like I got to figure this out by myself, you know. But again, I'm going to leave you guys with this. In order to be a good musician and learn quickly, you got to learn structure of song first. You got to learn structure of song. That's why I can do 10, 20 songs within the course of a day. More than that. You know, I can probably do that in 3 hours, you know. But, take that with you, you know, in order to become a good musician and learn quickly, not sloppy and throwing it together. You got to learn structure of song. You know, you got to know what you're doing. You got to know at any given time where you at in the song. Because the stuff of today is real simple to play, you know, so it shouldn't be it's a no-brainer for the new stuff. It's like 3 chords and we're done. You know, go to a Here and Now by Luther Vandross, I think got like 17 chords. I'm like, whoa, you know. Steely Dan, Asia. What's this? Deacon Blues. I remember when I learned that song, I kid you not, that's the only time I've ever had to do that. I had to lay out the arrangements on the floor. I had about 10 pieces of paper because it was moving that much in different chords, you know. And I forgot the lyrics, but, the stuff today, you ain't got to do that. And it's not total, well, I'm not going to get into all that, you know. But the purpose of the video was just to, let you guys know, in order to learn stuff quickly, you got to first learn how to learn structure of song. It's like, what is that part? Oh, that's the B section the second time around, and still over. I don't know what that is. Learn, become the best musician that you can become. Don't let technology hinder you where you never had to struggle and figure this out, because it's good to struggle and figure it out. It makes you a better player instead of the computer going to do it. I mess up and I just couldn't paste it out. None of that. Because back in the day when you effed up, you had to start over. It wasn't none of that. Let me punch you in right there where I messed up. No, you got to play the piece over. And that's good for you, because the more you play, the better you become. So on that note, I'm going to sign off. And like I said, I'm going to do a series of these things that initially don't seem like they're that important, but they are very important. They're very important. Till next time, take care and thanks for watching.